Chinese, not Chinese, but Chinese Indonesian youth political participation, a test of resource theory. Okay, the research background we set for this research is that maybe we commonly know that young people, sometimes we call them millennials, have low levels of political interest. And this is why we want to know by conducting research to investigate reasons why this is so, especially or particularly in Indonesia. I don't know, maybe also in your country, but we find that in Indonesia sometimes it is very hard to entice the youth to participate in politics. Sometimes they do not have interest in politics. So we need to know by exploring its predictors or correlate or maybe the antecedents or determinants. And this study is a part of the largest study we conduct in 2 years long study that focus on Chinese Indonesian political participation, especially for the youth. Yeah, despite the importance of role citizen participant, as we know that citizens around the world, of course, have a very important role in democratic governments and how to make a country more democratic, especially for Indonesia in the midst of democratization for now. And but also research found previous research found that persistent decline also found in citizen participation, particularly among young people. But at the same time, we also know that today it is also very popular for e-participation as a potential to stimulate greater citizen participation according to some scholars. But the question is it really the relationship between online and offline participation also has given a way to debate? Whether the expansion of e-participation means by using internet is reinforcing existing pattern of offline citizen participation based on the reinforcement hypothesis. Also, it means that we already participate more, or expanding the number of citizens who participate in public affairs if we have online participation and uh, helped by internet according to mobilization hypothesis. So we propose to test resource theory said it has been used to explain political participation in the last, especially in the Western country, particularly democratic countries, but remain unclear for the country for undemocratic country and also in the process of democratization such Indonesian about the resources theory. Why we focus on youth, especially for middle class? We know that they are middle class, they have a significant role in democratic processes. They are highly educated and mostly in urban life and has theological literacy. And in this study, we focus on Chinese Indonesian youth because they are commonly flagged as apolitical and apolitical and avoiding political discussion, according to some scholars. Resource dimension is considerably ignored at least 20 or 10 years later, 10 years, the last 10 years, I think. And according to resource theory, distinct resources are required to different modes of political participation. Traditional resources is college for perspective of psychological engagement. Many scholars say the psychological engagement is college traditional resources compared to internet resources. So how the original resources theory was proposed and still accounts for political activity at the dawn of the internet era. There an interaction between the two resources. So the interaction will be described as this slide for political efficacy, political interest, political sense as psychological engagement, and then internet resources that comprises of internet skills, internet access, and time online will predict or have the role for political participation, both in online and offline. Okay, the question is, does the source theory explain Chinese Indonesian youngster political participation? We conduct quantitative research and design that covering those who's 18 to 20 years old. The total of samples are 689 participants. Yeah, split like most female and the age between 18 to 21, mostly undergraduate or bachelor students, live in Jakarta and surrounding cities, and also Surabaya in Java. And most of them are from private university. We use a psychological questionnaire or scale, political participation, by asking them some items on the activities or what they do in politics, such as posting online, participating in the political discussion, expressing support, donating, and so on. Political interest we measured by only one single item, that asking how interested would you say you are in politics. The perceived political efficacy scale also patient and political cynicism also measured. Internet resources was measured by internet skills, mobile phone internet access, home internet access, and time spent to online daily. We also ask about this social economic status by asking father level educations, mother levels education, and monthly household income. Yeah, level education is categorized for one schooling until 8 PhD. The result is as follows, that internet resources did not mediate the psychological engagement to online participation. Internet resources also did not mediate the psychological engagement to offline participation, and also we found by test the social economic status also did not have significant effect to the political participation, but psychological engagement, yes. So how we can discuss from these findings? The first is that social economic status did not impact young Chinese Indonesian political participation, unlike so many maybe perception that most of Chinese families are rich or they have, but in this study, the social economic status did not impact participation. You have to discuss it compared to previous research that focused on social economic status, on political behavior, and political participation in many countries. Also, inter-resources do not have contribution to online participation, unlike the previous hypothesized. Also, by the scholars from many countries for previous research, Leta et al. 29 and Wang et al. 2018, that they found that internet have a very significant contribution to the online participation in politics. But psychological engagement, we found significantly associated with both mode of participants. And I think it's very interesting to know in more detail because we know that they are millennials, they are very young generation, that we know very familiar with social media, very familiar with internet in their daily life. But also we have to, yeah, we have to claim that or to say that this study also have many limitations, especially small samples and convenient sampling, still exploratory research according to many variables that we conclude and need to model fit and still primary research. But we have also implication for this study. I have so for encourage with research as it related some psychological and non-psychological factors in our uh, consideration. We have to focus on the development of political empowerment of the occupation of other interests and concern. Also, the complexity of politics, especially in Indonesia, we know it's very sometimes very complicated. And also, how about the social media and social network they have? We also thinking about multi-level analysis. We'll be conducting on the next study on maybe also multi-level modeling. Yeah, also we are considering about the theory, the new model, the framework to be considered and tested next, especially from Costariano and Seder 2014 about the three theoretical approaches with regard to ethnicity, theory integration, resource mobilization theory, and the political opportunity structure approach. We're also thinking about theories of individual contextual determinants and also about the economic distribution and social justice. Thank you so much. This is the end of my presentation. Do you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, thank you, Bonar. That is a very, very great presentation on Chinese Indonesian political influence in Indonesia. So, I would like to ask anyone who are who are interested in asking a question. Is there anyone who wants to ask a question to Mr. Bonar here? So, anyone? Okay. Okay. I think everyone is very, very clear with. Okay, yes, Dr. Surpi has a question. All right. I will just switch Dr. Surpi on. All right. Uh, okay, Dr. Surpi, I have already unmuted you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay, you may address your question to Mr.
Ya,
Bonar.
apa kabar?
Baik, Dr. Supri, thank you. Are you Indonesian too? Om from
Yes,
Bali. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank Dr. Supri.
Bonar, I want to
Yeah.
ask your opinion about our political issue in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yes, Indonesia, we have some Chinese youth politicians. They are like millennial politicians, like Grace Natali and
Yes.
so other politicians. Do you think that Indonesian voters are tendencies to choose based on their rational choices, such as their vision, their ability, their competition, or choose based on their rational issues? Thank you.
Wow, a very good question. Okay, can I answer now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Supri. Yeah, we also know, but not so many from Chinese descent that focus on political in practice. As Grace Natali and also Ahok. Please do not forget Ahok.
Yes.
A phenomenal politician also from Chinese Indonesian. But honestly, I have to say, but this is not based on research, just based on our maybe common knowledge and also small talks in the political laboratory of psychology. Okay, that mostly Chinese still do not have interest in politics. Maybe because of maybe say very what is it bad history we had in Indonesia, such as 1988, the Jakarta riots. That very traumatic for them. Yeah, but we also very so many historical notes, especially from Dutch colonialism, that also make Chinese victims in Indonesia. Sometimes we understand why they don't have any interest in politics. But according to your statement about Grace Natali and many Chinese descents, I think for the last years they have also a politics because they are highly educated. Sometimes also they have so many organizational background. Please don't forget that Grace Natali also journalist. Nahok is previously the municipalities designed in region in Belitung. So they come from the very, what is it, the very concern and very awareness about the politics. But we are very interested in conducting research about the young politician of Chinese descent in Indonesia, according to our small talks about this. I hope you can also join us for the next research if you want. Dr. Supri, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a great question addressed by Dr. Surpi and very nice way of answering Mr. Bonar. And now I will, there's another question from Mr. Sachi. Okay, I will unmute Mr. Sachi. Okay, Mr. Sachi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can address your question to Mr. Bonar.
Yeah. Right, Mr. Bonar, while
Yeah,
I
Mr.
was
Sachi.
just looking at this question, you could have looked at the Chinese Indonesian youth political participation, but why did you select to look it from the point of the resource theory? Why did you select the resource theory there? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sachi. As I stated before from the beginning of the slide presentations, that resource theory is a very popular theory in political psychology in maybe 30 years ago, but latest it is very limited or scarce research that focus on this theory or the perspectives. Maybe because so many framework, model, or theory that can account for political behavior according to some scholars. But in my opinion, in our consideration, research theory is still appropriate to apply to the Chinese Indonesian because Chinese Indonesian is very well known as very rich. They have the money, they have the good education, they have the good maybe technological and internet literacy, although they are outside of Jakarta, especially when I went to Bangka, Pangkal Pinang, and other side of Indonesia. I know that many Chinese or Chinese family have a very good resources. The problem is, do the resource they is have impact of their fear, their focus on political participation, or they use it to participate in politics. If if they are not, we conduct the other research that focus on still on Chinese Indonesian youth, but not using resource theory. This time we test the theory and then we will be thinking another framework or maybe in terms of qualitative research after this. Thank you, Dr. Sachi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sachi, for addressing that question. And then next we have Dr. Mohan to address a question. Okay, I will unmute Dr. Mohan. All right. Okay, Dr. Mohan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you can
Hi,
address.
Dr. Mohan.
Thank you very much. How are you, Bonar? Very nice to hear your explanation. Just I want to ask, Bonar, why do you, at the last slide, I see you're talking about online learning. Why are you connecting with it?
Excuse me? Pardon? Why the connecting?
Connecting to online learning. You put it on the last slide about online learning.
Oh, okay.
That is why do you relate this political participant with your online learning or something?
Okay. Thank you. I just want to check it again. Am I right about the online learning? Okay.
The last slide, I see the arrow everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, the light learning is the last slide is about three approaches. The theory, the model, the framework, isn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't see here, but
slide is
yes, I cannot admin here. Only the host can or you can. And the arrow, that's something you write about online.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as I stated before from the beginning of the presentation, political participation also related to online education, online learning, online working. So I think if they are pretty familiar with online, say it online working, online learning, and online another thing online, how about to participate also online? Why not? Such as signing petition online, donating, donating to the candidate, donating to the case in political cases. Uh, I think if they are really literate with internet, very familiar with online lifestyle, they have also the same with political participation online. I think this is.
Okay, thank you very much, Bonar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Can you hear
Mohan.
me? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohan, for addressing the question to Mr. Bonar. And Mr. Bonar, thank you so much for presenting an absolute great idea in within the political psychology field. I think it is a great implementation all of us can take to actually study a targeted audience in our own country for any political influence as well. Right now, we have seen how it was implemented in the Indonesian scenario, so we can also implement it into other situations to know how and to what extent it does affect the political influence.